thank you, everyone. Welcome to Compromise and Communication Show on Change the Game Network. This is an hour-long show that discusses relationships of all kinds,
Yes.
including friends, family, co-workers, kids, and parents. And we will deal with multiple topics every week.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so the topic we're going to start out on today is a topic that is kind of a hurtful topic, I would say, because it really runs deep for people, and that is forgiveness. Ardell, yeah, definitely. So it's can how can we forgive family members who have hurt us? Now, this is big. Hey, Rodney, this is really huge. And the reason why I say that is a lot of people have family members. We love them, but we can't deal with them. Do you have, Darin, what has been your experiences with this? Or do you, or people who you know have experience with family members that they did something to you and you just can't let it go, or you have let it go and you just dropped it?
Well, my thing is I try to take not only information of things that I personally experienced, but I like to talk to coworkers and other strangers and other people and things of that nature, and kind of see if any of their experiences meet up with any of mine, to see if there's any common threads and things of that nature. So the thing with dealing with some of the things related to family experiences, it's been a lot of different things going on and stuff like that. But from my conversation with different people, but one of the main things is, I think a few years ago I was talking to a customer, and I'm really supposed to be in ministry, so people will talk to me about anything. So it's kind of funny or whatever, but they'll tell me things that I personally wouldn't tell people, not knowing them and things of that nature. But
so what did they say?
Yeah, I was talking to a customer, and the lady told me her mother had passed away or whatever. And I told her that I sent my condolences and things of that nature from our family and stuff like that, and that we was praying for them and stuff like that. And the lady, she came in the store, whatever. I guess she was getting some clothes for the funeral and things of that nature. But she was telling me, she was like, this been like stressful time and stuff like that. And then I was like, what happened or whatever? And she was like, some of my family members and things of that nature, they've been arguing and fighting, my brothers and sisters and stuff like that, so bad over my mom's property and things of that nature and personal possessions that I'm considering not even going to her funeral.
You know what? You bring up a good point about things like that.
I know that's why I'm on here.
And you know what? I'm reading these comments now. Andrell says something really, and you are. I can't wait to talk about this. Okay. Let's talk about this. He says he holds lifelong grudges, because when he cut an individual off, it's done. You know, and a lot of people, I have to say that some people, they hand us the scissors so we can cut them off. Now, the reason why we talk about forgiveness is because I have become very good with forgiving. See, a lot of times when people think of forgiving, they think that you saying I'm okay with you hurting me. I'm okay with the garbage. And it's actually the complete opposite. See, when you forgive, you're not forgiving for them. You're not excusing their behavior. You're forgiving for you. And the reason why this is so important,
so that you can let go and not
you gotta let
have
go.
any pain afterwards.
Yes, because
or you don't unleash that pain off on your husband or wife or co-workers or somebody else, because you have that pain within.
Yeah,
you're right.
Exactly.
Hollering at them in the car or something like that, or just snapping on them and things of that nature. So.
Right. And you know, Don bring up a really good statement. He said the Bible states that if you don't forgive, then how can God forgive you? That's very true. And that's how I got my personal revelation about
Hey,
forgiveness, is
hey,
when I got
Don.
into my
Let me let me let me
Christianity stronger. Go
let,
ahead.
let me let me address Don's statement. Don, I told somebody the other day about the police situation here in Chicago, that
Mm-hmm.
we need to be praying for both sides of the family, not only the kid who got killed, but the policeman family and things of that nature. Because a lot of times people forget that these police officers have family and stuff like that who love them. And the guy said that he's just a murderer and things of that nature. Like, he don't have a mother or father or brothers and sisters who love him and want to see the best out of him and things of that nature.
Yes.
And I told the guy the same thing, that God forgives us and we have to forgive other people too, and stop waiting on justice from man and forgive other people. Because, and the Bible
Yes.
shouldn't have to tell us that, because if we know God and we've experienced God and all of the great things that
Mm-hmm.
he do, we shouldn't even have to read that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff that the
Yeah.
Bible give us is game that we should already be up on, because it should be second nature to us, like going to the bathroom in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And we shouldn't even have to do
Yes.
that, because some of the Bible has been tampered with, because they trying to trick some people into staying in this slavery mentality and things of that nature. So everything in the Bible isn't accurate, but some of it is. But they tried to tamper with some of it. So you can't go off of everything in the Bible. But if you know God and you talk to him and his son, and Jesus walk with you and things of that nature, then some of this stuff is game that he should already be chopping with you all day, every day in your life and things of that nature. But it was kind of amazing that I brought up the fact that God forgives us and things of that nature. And this guy said that he couldn't forgive this police officer or care about his family and things of that nature. I
Well,
thought
let
it
me
was
just
very
say this,
pathetic.
just to piggyback on what
Okay.
you were saying. That's why the Holy Ghost is very important. When you're doing that. So that's why it's important to receive it if you are a Christian. Now, if you're not a Christian, okay, I got you on that. But if you are a Christian, you need the Holy Ghost, not just as a comforter, but it teaches you and shows you and guides you through on where your heart needs to be, and consciously awaking you, what people say, their third eye consciousness, or their inner
Right.
man. It wakes that up so you can know exactly what to do. Now back to the forgiving point. The subject we're talking
Right.
about is, can you forgive a family member who has hurt you? So I know from my experience, I can use an example. For me is my father. Me and my father had a very
Okay.
kind of a tumultuous relationship, and I forgave my father. And I have to tell you something, you all. I have had the best relationship with my dad, like you would not believe. And before that, the thing is, the thing is that a lot of times with African American fathers, they haven't been taught how to be a father because their father wasn't a good father.
Right.
And then, you'll
Right.
have residual issues that we have from slavery. So people have to learn
Right.
to be a father. So the other thing too, the scripture that the Holy Spirit kept putting into your mother and your fathers, and your days of your life shall be long. When
Right.
I'm telling you, when I was going through that, I would play, but God was saying, "No, girl, you have to do this." And so when I talked to my dad and confronted him about the issues, now this was in my late teens and early. Was I? No, I was 21 when I did it. Yeah, when I was 21, I talked to my dad like, "Hey, um, there you go, Undell. Good point. Um, I was like, hey, Dad, when you wasn't there and when you were doing what you were doing, I need you to be there for me. I needed you to be there." And when I forgave my father, let me tell you something. the quality of men that I was dating, shoo, it changed because I had validation. So I wasn't dating my dad anymore. You know, and my dad, when you say you're dating your dad, I know it sounds weird, but you're trying to get this love and validation. You're looking for it. But once I received validation from Christ, and then I forgave my dad, it made me so much of a better woman that I began to attract a better type of guy. And I felt, and when I say a better type of guy, I'm not talking about, because a lot of times we say a better type of guy, people think money. When you talk about a better type of guy, we want to talk about the quality of a guy, his mental state, the way he carries himself, his integrity, his honesty, the way he loves himself. Like for me, I have a zero tolerance. If a guy don't love himself, he can't never date me. Not in a million years. So with me, because I forgave my dad and because I stopped down, you know, and trying to validate myself through him and trying to be a good girl, it was like in all my relationship, I was trying to be the good girl. And I mean, these guys wouldn't even deserve me and I'll just still be good. They'd cheat, they'd do all this stuff, and I'm still trying to be the good girl. They would do things to hurt me and embarrass me in public in front of their friends, say stuff that you wouldn't even say to a dog. And I would just stand there because I'm like, my dad left me. I'm not gonna leave them because I know when I first met him, he didn't say those things to me. So maybe he having a bad day. Really? No. I don't care how bad of a day a person is having. They have no right to disrespect you, degrade you, and to make you feel very bad and humiliated. So those things that I had happen to me, and I forgave my father for, it cleaned a lot of mess out of my life. And it really was a miracle to me. So forgiving for me, after I did that with my father, I forgave everybody. I'm so good at it. I mean, I'm so good at it because I know deep, it's not even them. It's the evil in them. It's the thief in the mind, and it's the jealous nature of man. So you can't really. It's not even a person. You got to really look deeper, and that's why I was able. It was easy for me to forgive.
Okay.
What about you? Is it easy for you to forgive, Darin?
Well,
is it easy for you to forgive?
It depends. It depends. It's getting easier as you continue growing in your relationship with God and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't think I've had a whole lot of like family issues and things of that nature with like people trying to like cross me and things of that nature. But
yeah,
it's just little small things where, because I'm an artist and things of that nature, probably little things that kind of hurt was like people coming out to performances and things of that nature when I was doing different shows and stuff like that and things of that nature.
Right.
So not having certain family members come out and support and things of that nature, it's kind of like a stab in the back when they have all this time to be drinking and smoking and arguing. They need to put that same effort into coming out for college graduations and high school graduations and their nephews and nieces and other things. So, but just it's getting easier. It's getting easier. So
I'm glad it's getting
that
easy.
comes with the continue.
Yeah, I'm glad it's getting easy. But I know one.
Yeah.
Like everything got easy once I forgave my dad. Like we have such a good relationship. He just texted me today and told me that he was meeting Dr. T.D. Jakes today. And because we go, I'm a long-term member of Apostolic Faith. on 38th Street. Okay, so
Okay.
even though I live in Dallas, that's my church. And then my second home church, of course, Hannah, my cousin's church, New Life Covenant. So those two are like, you know,
Okay.
those two
Yeah, I
churches are
love
like
New Life
everything
too.
to me. So, oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
family right
New
there.
Life
And
people are
they're
very
the
good.
truth.
They always out trying to get people to come to their church and things of that nature. So it's a very good church. I
Well,
don't
you
see
know
that
why
from a
that
whole
is. It's
lot of
all about
churches where they like invite you out and stuff like
yeah,
that. So
it's about community. Yeah, it's about community.
yeah.
So because of the foundation that Bishop Horace E. Smith instilled in me and in my family, it wasn't. See, that church is not just like my dad's church. That was my grandmother's church. So, so
Okay.
it's legacy. So
Mm-hmm.
so the thing is,
Gotcha.
my dad goes there and he's like, okay, we're about to see Pastor T.D. Jakes, Bill Winston just left the podium and all this. And then I'm texting like, Dag, I wish I could be there. I'm at work. So I sent a picture of myself with my glasses on and at work. And I didn't think it was nothing. You know what I mean? I always send my dad pictures. And he said, oh my goodness. He says, Leah, you are just so beautiful. I just have just beautiful daughters. You know, because I have a sister too, and she's really beautiful. And
Okay.
it just felt good to hear that, you know. So that's good. You know what? Undell's saying a lot of serious stuff here. He says an abusive man swears
Yeah.
the first time he strikes a woman, he promised her. I'm trying to open up what he's saying, but I can't do it for some reason. He promised her that he'd never do it again. You know what? It's true. Because when guys would insult me, that I had in the past before I forgave my dad, they said they would never do those things to me again. But the thing is, we as women, we have to be responsible. Like, just because someone does something negative to you, you don't have to accept that behavior. And the more someone accepts
right
negative behavior, it becomes stupidity at that point. And there was times in my life that I was very, very yeah. I wasn't using all my God-given sense because I kept on thinking about how to treat me in the past and holding on to that. Like, oh, he's having a bad day or he can do better. And that's the thing that women do is big time. See, men don't do that. Men, they call it for what it is. If they keep having a girl that's kind of trifling, they're going to probably deal with it for a little bit, but then they're going to cut that thing off. Women, we hold on. I mean, we hold on. So, and because we hold on, we supposed to. But we be responsible for, we have to take, like, hey, sister, hey, Leah, look in the mirror, like, girl, what are you doing? And that's what I have to do is say, what are you doing? You know, it's one thing to forgive and keep forgiving a family member for hurting you. But when is the stupidity going to stop? It's okay to forgive, but you don't have to forget. And you can that person with a long handle spoon.
Spiritually.
Right. Like I had a family member who really hurt me because he told a lie on me.
Do you always?
And when he
do you
told
think
the
you
lie,
always have to? Do you think you always have to? Do you think you always have to love them from a distance, or can you ever mend it where you can trust that person and get back together with them and become close to them again? If you was close at some point, I have cousins
that we
or do you always have? Because most of the people I talk to, they always say keep them at a distance.
Okay, let me explain. It depends on what the situation is. Like for instance, I know I'm not the easiest person. You know, I know I'm a bit much. I'm a Leo. You know, I'm a bit much. Like people can take my confidence for arrogance easily, and I love me. So And because I love me, it can appear to be that you're just pompous and arrogance. And see, it's a thin line between arrogance and confidence. But to see, arrogance is when you
Right.
put down others to raise yourself up. Confidence is when you lift up others as well as yourself. So
Right.
that's the difference. Like, I love lifting up people. I love motivating, inspiring. It comes through my pores. I can't help myself. It's easy for me to tell you that you're a winner, you're a champion, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're amazing, you're phenomenal. I do it all day, every day. It is what I eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I'm telling you, I can't help that.
That's
Who
good. That's good.
but I mean, I can't help that. But I tell you, like I said with you, Darin, you have greatness in you. The things that you're doing, it's going to carry you to places beyond because you're hungry and you're determined. And you just got to keep feeding yourself and getting mentorship and feeding yourself around people who will fuel your fire. It's something that John Henry Clark said. He said, oh God, I love this quote. He says, "Ignite yourself with fire, because people around you will come to see your blaze." It's something like one of my favorite quotes of all, something like that. But basically, basically, you want to be able to love yourself and to give that to others. And then when the more you love yourself, the easier it is to forgive too. Because times when I didn't love myself, I was so hard on myself. I felt so rejected. When the times that I did not, when I was going through things with my dad, you know, I was so hard on myself. Easy for me to you know to kind of not be in a forgiving space. It was, but now it's easy for me to forgive.
It's understandable.
Like, yeah, you know, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes sense.
So we have another topic at hand.
But,
did you want to go on to our next topic?
Go
Hey,
ahead.
how you doing? Hey, Daniel. Yes. The other topic about is a lot of us have kids, and I have a daughter, and we noticed that with these teenagers, technology is like it's like a body part. That's the best way I can describe it, because their phone is like there, their tablet is there, and a lot of times the kids don't really engage and do anything. So my question is to you: have our children put technology over conversation and relationship? What do you think, Darin?
That was a big part of what we did in our homeland in Africa and Egypt, communication and things of that nature, and also coming to America, being down south and things of that nature, and after picking cotton and doing other various chores and things of that nature, was our ability to conversate with each other in a positive manner and also jokingly manner and things of that nature. So me myself, I think that we need to really get back to that part, because you see a lot of people now who kind of moving away from this. And I was talking to the boo this morning when I was on my way to work.
Love it.
Don't be laughing. Hi, boo. But she told me, she's telling me her daughter's. She told me her daughter's school allow her to bring cell phone and stuff like that in the classroom. So and she was really mad about that when she found out that the principal and the other staff was doing that, because she felt that that was kind of probably stopping her from learning and focusing on what she needs to be doing, which is her work and things of that nature, because you got to remember, a lot of American students don't test well and things of that nature, and you have to really do well on tests in order to take it to the next level in college and then moving into corporate America and running your own businesses and all that stuff. So it builds that confidence. So you want to really start the kids off on the right note where that way they
Yeah,
can
you want them to be tech savvy.
do well in all areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we can. It's certain they're going to learn about technology and stuff like that because it's all around them. But with some of it, you don't want to have the kids doing too much of it because I worked in childcare at the YMCA, and my coworker, she gonna laugh at me because she hear me talking about it all day, but I ain't thinking about it. But one of the things you really want to do is with the technology and stuff like that, you want to make sure that the kids are still remaining active because that's one of the things that they trying to teach us in school with the gym classes and other stuff is that we need to
Right.
maintain being active and not coming home and watching All My Children in General Hospital in Empire and eating dinner and going to sleep and waking up the next day. No,
exactly.
we have to maintain being active and stuff like that. And electronics and other things, the video games and other things like that. Now you have kids sitting in the house all summer. When we was kids, we outside playing softball, football, baseball, basketball, throwing rocks at each other, all kind of stuff. So
now I'm going to tell you something. All there are some
but
kids,
outdoor stuff.
Yes.
Things of that nature.
Yes. Now there are some kids, and people don't like to talk about this, that they just don't do well with people. Like for instance, like it's hard for them to blend in or mesh with other kids. And then when they do,
right,
it's just like a awkwardness to that. And so those kids have a tendency to lean on technology more because when they to reach out and hi or to get phone numbers and have conversations or to meet up to eat and different things like that, and they get passed up on those opportunities, then that's when technology pieces are there. They lean more on the technology piece because no one's calling them, no one's asking them to hang out, no one's asking them, hey, you know what, we're gonna all be at the show.
Some of the parents giving them $1,000 phones, but yeah, some of the parents giving them $1,000 phones, but they're not placing compassion in their heart because they shouldn't be videotaping fights at school and things of that nature. First thing you're supposed to be doing is go to try to break it up or try to bring it to a close.
Oh wow!
So you have when you know something wrong when you have kids recording fights and things of that nature instead of helping to stop whatever's going on.
Right now, my daughter's school had a zero tolerance with that. So, and this is why I loved her school because they still instill corporal punishment at her school. So, and that's what I love the South. So, if you do certain things, you're gonna have to get paddled for that, or your parent had to come up there and handle you. So, you know, and those things. In the South, I love it because it just puts a better disciplinary tone and accountability on that child as well as that parent to handle that. Or if they didn't do that, they had a long suspension. So it's either a long suspension where you're gonna have to take off work and you're gonna have to deal with a kid, a 17-year-old while you at work, or you're gonna let him get paddled. Or you're gonna go up to the school and you're gonna do it yourself. So you gotta pick how that's gonna go down for you, you know.
Right.
And a lot of parents, they don't want their 17-year-old son or daughter to be alone in a house for a whole week by themselves and they don't tell them what's going on while they at work. So so of course, you know, I'm gonna deal
that's
with
an interesting little scenario. So yeah, so
it is, hey,
that's one of the things that
what did it say?
kind of took away from a lot of things.
Yes, hey. So that's the thing. So with the technology piece, I think a lot of our kids lean on it too much. And like one time I was eating I was eating, and it was I worked down the street from a high school, and it was a bunch of kids. And before the food came, everybody was on their cell phone. Nobody really wasn't talking among each other.
Okay.
So kind of weird, because usually if I'm with friends, I'm not thinking about my cell phone too much. You know what I mean? I may go on there like, hey girl, I'm gonna check on this status real quick. Let me see what they doing on Facebook. You know, or something like that. If I check on Facebook, it's probably to see where the party's at. If I'm with my friends, what's going on, or something on the lines of that. But they are the main event, not the phone. They are if I'm with them.
Right.
And usually when you have a good time, nobody's looking at their phones. They're like, hey, what's going on, girl? What's going on, dude? Hey, you know, you all are building and connecting. Which, you know, makes a lot of sense to me. You know, that just helps.
And I'm a video game person myself. I like playing video games and things of that nature, but I didn't pass that down to my kids. I always made sure me and my kids did stuff, a lot of different activities and things of that nature, and just always like being active, playing tennis and all kind of other stuff, because you got to make sure that we taking care of ourselves health-wise, and not just sitting around watching TV and also on the phones and things of that nature. Just a time for that, because you already have mama calling Sundays and she wanted to talk for 3 hours, and you got a whole bunch of things to get ready to do. Don't laugh. We know mama want to talk 3 hours on Sunday, and a couple of mamas gonna be mad, baby, but we know we love you guys or whatever. But we allow that 3 hours, so you all can call from Alabama and talk our ear off and try to keep us focused on the stuff that you all want us to do. But outside of that, we just have to balance the electronics in our world, but still making sure that we having kids that are active and not putting on weight and becoming obese and things of that nature, because we trying to let the public school systems or the private school systems or the charter school systems or the magnet school systems raise our kids. We got to make sure that we doing things with them and making sure that they have an active childhood.
And that's a good point.
And we maintaining ourselves also, because we don't want to be sitting in hospitals full of tubes and all this stuff, because we're not taking care of ourselves health-wise. And you only have one temple. You have to make sure that you're taking care of it, because once it starts breaking down and things of that nature, it's hard to go back on those things. So we have to balance the electronics in our world that's coming in and things of that nature, but still also making sure that we're teaching our kids and grandkids and stuff like that at the same time whenever those teaching moments arise about, because I block people on Facebook for posting fights. I've had family, friends, all kind of people.
Oh my God.
Because that stuff
are these
you
grown
can't
adults
tolerate.
doing this? Or
Because
these kids? Oh God.
Posting that kind of nonsense, and they adults, because they don't know any better. So you have to set the tone with people, and I let them know before I block them or whatever why they getting blocked, because you have to set the tone for what you do on different things and what you stand for. And that's not something to be joking around, because it's too much stuff going on right now to be laughing and giggling about those kinds of things. And that kind of ignorance shouldn't still amuse you if you've came out of that ignorance within yourself.
Absolutely.
So if that kind of ignorance still amuse you, people arguing and fighting and things of that nature, and you 25, 35, 45, you still have a whole bunch of issues that you need to work on. And we have to make sure that you can tell the person
don't read. They're not doing anything to expand their mind or educate themselves or move forward.
Right.
I mean, I tell people all the time, books saved my life.
Mine also.
You need to expand your mind, expand your horizons. So wow, that's really deep. But the thing is,
the books take you beyond the block.
Yeah, but books saved my life. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even be the person
Same thing here.
I am if it wasn't for applied knowledge. You know, it's one thing to have the knowledge,
Right.
but when you're able to apply it, it makes you exceptional, you know, for sure. And with technology, it's a blessing because you can easily do that. Like, I know with me, I suffer from dyslexia. So me reading, oh God, I didn't got really good at it because I had to train
Is it
myself in
difficult?
it. And I forced myself to be good at reading, you know. But
How did you do
if I
that?
had to choose an audiobook, you're talking right.
How did you do
Practice make
that?
perfect. I hate the fact that I hated the fact that I wasn't a good reader. And I didn't know. I thought I
Okay.
was like off in the head or something because I was afraid to tell people that
And
I
what would
wasn't
happen?
a good reader. I was afraid to tell
What
people
would
that I have
happen
a
when the
learning
teachers
disability
in
because I didn't even
elementary?
know. I just thought it was just something wrong with me. Um, and
What would happen when the
I
teachers would
just,
ask you to read in elementary school?
oh, I
What
would
would
dodge
happen
it.
when the
See, the
teachers would
thing
ask you to
is,
read
when
in
you
elementary
quiet,
school?
nobody calls on you when you quiet. That's the thing. See, I got very good at. People just thought I was smart because I kept my mouth shut, and I didn't know shit. I'm just gonna be honest. Not for a long time, and in grade school, I just got away with it because I was quiet. So it's easy for you
Okay.
to hide and conceal your problems when you don't talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then too, people, I've got real good at copying off of people papers and stuff, and I just was slick. So when I was all the way, I didn't get good at school until my senior year when I was diagnosed with having adult ADD and being dyslexic,
Okay.
and I could not focus on nothing but music. When it came to music, boo, you got me.
Yeah.
And so anything with music or rhythm, oh, it was over with. But see, everyone thought I was so smart because I
Mm-hmm.
was so nice to all the teachers.
And why was
I
that?
was so respectful because it's easy for me to be respectful. I love people. I'm a people person
Okay.
when it comes to that type of stuff. So I know how
Okay.
to butter you up really good.
I know to send you to ask mama to ask for pizza on certain Fridays and Saturdays. I needed you as my sister.
Wait, say that again?
I said I needed you as my sister so you can go and ask mama for pizza on Saturdays when I want pizza. I needed you, yeah. I needed
Exactly.
you was the one I needed, right.
Right. So I was really good with buttering people up and making them feel good and just really, you know, so nobody questioned my disability, you know.
Okay.
So I went through school and everybody thought, oh, Leah, she's this, she's that. She's smart. She's the girl. Man, please. To read, you see how smart I was. Man, you asked me to read a chapter out of a book, man, I'll be shaking like a leaf because I didn't know
How did you
how.
overcome that?
Well, because once I got diagnosed with
What
being
did
a dyslexic, I knew what the problem was. I once I found out I had ADHD, and I was just so like, there's different stages to your ADHD. Like a lot of times people
so
think of
what do the
somebody
words
being
look like to you
hyper,
when you're
like,
trying to read?
you know, that's where you think of that. But mine was a lot different. I just could not focus. Like you could tell me something 1 minute and I'll be on something completely different. I would change the subject. And I do it now as an adult. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to stay on task. So because of that and how I got over that, it's just certain things that I did and I read. Whatever it was, what the specialist told me to do, that's what I'll do. But the main thing that got me out is prayer more than anything, because I couldn't
Really?
afford to go to those different groups. Like it one of the things, my I was like $400 a session for my treatments of focus and dyslexia and ADHD and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Medication, sure as hell I wasn't gonna do that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yes, I did. I had a lot of fear of rejection because of that, and
That's
that's
a
why
good
I was such a
question.
people pleaser. Um,
Okay.
because of my disability, I became a people pleaser because I didn't want nobody to know my secret that I was a
Right.
poor reader and I didn't know how to focus.
No,
And
but you had
school
some
was
other
like a
stuff going
nightmare,
on,
and I
so it
hated
wasn't.
school until I got in college. Once I got in college, woo, kick butt. Because I solved my problem. I knew what it was. I didn't feel stupid anymore. I felt empowered because
Okay.
I knew, wow, this is what's wrong with me. Yes, I can do something about it. Okay, um, so once I did that, so my GPA.
Is it a different way that you make words make sense to you? How's the words all jumbled up? How do the words look to you
I just
when you
slowed
have
the
that?
reading process down. Um,
Okay.
I just slowed the reading process down. So let's say, um, what word can we use as an example? Let's say question, shunquest. I would see it like that. I just had to really look at it because I was looking at it too quickly. My brain was overthinking and being
Wasn't
rapid. So
registering.
yeah, it was racing.
Right.
So I just had to slow everything down. And then I also stopped eating the processed foods because it was killing me, man. Eating
Okay.
hot corn chips in the morning,
So no
little
more flaming hots
Debbie's.
for you?
Oh man, it was killing me, man. As a kid, when you get stuff and you stop at the candy lady's house first before you go to school.
Right.
Man,
How many of us can tell that story?
man, it was killing me, son. So,
Yeah.
I mean, once I found out my diet and what I could and couldn't have, it blessed me. So when I started eating oatmeal in the morning, you know, uh, it caused my
What
my
did the
thinking to
oatmeal
get
do to
stable.
help?
Yeah, it caused my thinking to get stable for one. Oatmeal changed my
Is it
life.
something in the oatmeal that triggers
Yes.
something within the
Oatmeal
body?
has iranium and
Share that
irodium
with
in
the
it. So if
audience.
you have a kid that has ADHD or really is hyper, the oatmeal is really good because it causes the brain it gives it what it needs to stabilize itself so you can think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mhm.
And how did you find that out, from the doctor,
Yams.
or did
Dr.
you
Mona
Google
Harrison.
it
That's
or
how I
find
found
out?
that out. Dr. Mona
Okay.
Harrison was a lifesaver for me.
Okay. Is she a doctor here in Chicago, or
No.
where you at now?
You can get her. You can get just look her up on YouTube. She actually passed away, and I believe she was
Really?
assassinated because she was breaking people free. Too much
Hmm.
stopped them from being on medication. She was a doctor out of Johns Hopkins, and for me
Yeah, and
studying
we
her,
already know about the doctors that's like
they don't want to take the
they getting
medicine
right.
out.
They
Yeah,
get money to prescribe certain
yeah. And
companies
she also
medicine or
got me into
whatever.
alkaline water and the
Mm-hmm.
powers of that. And when you drink alkaline water, that's gets it breaks through the blood brain barrier, so you can give oxygen to your brain so you can think. Tap water,
Okay.
it's nothing in it. It's dead. So you're not being taught these things. So because of that, you just going through life in hell. And then also me eating yams in the morning, that helped a lot. Like when you bake a yam and you fix it and you just eat it like that, it stabilizes your it gives you it balance you out, you're chemically.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
Well, let's move to the next question.
yes. I know I can go on and on about me and my yeah. Okay. So the next question uh is goal setting in relationships. Ah,
Ah,
okay. So what are the best ways for you to set a goal in your relationship? And well,
this
what
off your
would you?
personal experiences or your experiences combined with some other people that you've known,
Well, I
friends
have
and
a
family?
mentor, and so with my mentor, him and his wife, they do some amazing things together, but they can't do anything if they're not on accord. So the first thing is you
Gotcha.
have to be on accord.
Right.
You have to be on accord.
As
So,
any other instrument,
huh?
you got to tune the body up and stuff like that, and things of that nature, like any instrument or whatever. So
Wait, repeat that.
I say you got to tune it up like it's an instrument.
What do you mean, your goal? Or wait, what are we talking about now?
Yeah. As far as
Wait
being
a
on one
minute, what are
accord,
we talking about here now?
like yeah, as far as being on one accord, what you
One
saying, like being on
accord,
one
yeah,
accord.
you
You
have
know how
to.
like a band have to practice and things of that nature.
Oh yeah, okay, Lord
Yeah,
help.
or
My
like a
mind was
team have to
like,
practice. Yeah, the one accord part.
I'm so sorry. I was thinking about something
You
completely
ready?
different.
I know you ready to throw dude under the bus. Don't throw him under the
No,
bus.
I
I don't want to hear nothing. I don't
wasn't.
want to hear nothing but good stuff about him.
Okay, so all right. So a part of setting goals, you have to have someone that's on the same accord with you. So let's
Gotcha.
say, for instance, that let's say, for instance, that you all want to save and raise your credit. So a part of
Gotcha.
that is being able to watch your spending. So if you all both are on that, then you're going to write down ways on how to save and conserve. So instead of you all going to the movies, you all may want to do Redbox. Instead of eating
Okay.
out so much, you may want to cook. You know,
Right.
just different things like that. But if you all are not in agreement with that, and you're trying to save, but the person you with is like, oh no, shoot,
Frivolous.
we're gonna go to we're gonna go to Ruth Chris. We're gonna
Right.
go to Cooper Hawks, or whatever
Look at you with the
you,
plugs.
you know whatever. And then you're like, no, you know what? What's your favorite dish at Cooper Hawks? Okay, so then I can fix that. Like one of the things I do when I go to restaurants,
Okay.
I gotta tell y'all a secret. When I go to restaurants, I always ask for the chef, if I really like the meal, to come out
Okay.
to the table. They love
Gotcha.
that. So I'll say,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, I really love this meal. What is this? How did you make that chutney? Or, because what can I
Oh,
do
you
at
getting a little
home?
inside tips. Look at
I love to
you.
cook. So,
I know.
because of that,
That's smart.
I'm going to always ask how, to save money. I ask the chef to come to the table and ask him how I can do this. That's how I got really good with making steak because of that. So,
Okay.
uh-huh. And just different things like that. So it saves you money, so that's the thing. So being on one accord in a relationship and how to goal set in a relationship is basically you can't set a goal if the person don't even believe in the goal that you're trying to set. So
Ooh, good point.
yeah, you got to
Good
be on a,
point.
because it's like, and then your vision may not be the other person's vision. For
Right.
instance, I was dating someone who was in network marketing, and I and it was the worst thing ever because I didn't want to
Why
do it.
so?
I didn't want to do it, but I did it because of him. Because I liked him so much. I'm like, oh, let me just support him and do this. And I did it. And then I was doing my best in it, but I sucked. While he was making money from it, I was like, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't in accord with that. So even I was trying and trying, but then you get to a point to where, hey, I was like, I'm not gonna try this hard no more because shoot, I've been doing this for like 6 months. I should be somewhere. This
Right.
is definitely not for me. So I stopped. So the thing is that if you don't agree with what your boyfriend or spouse is doing, it's okay. It's
Okay.
okay. But just encourage them as they're trying to do their move.
Okay.
Because it's terrible when you don't agree with what your spouse or your girlfriend or your guy is doing, and then you're like discouraging them. That's a nightmare. That's the worst thing you could
Right.
ever do. You may not agree with what they're trying to do, but at least encourage them.
Right.
Yeah. So you can't set goals with a negative person. And so if you know the
Really.
person is like kind of on the negative side or they're a pessimist, they're like, we're never making. Don't even bother telling them what you're trying to do.
Oh my.
No, I would never tell a pessimist or someone that's totally like on the negative end what I'm trying to do. Because they
Okay.
mean well, honestly, they do, but they just don't want to see you get your hopes up high. And it's not a good thing because you got to have someone that match your energy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's understandable.
yeah, so if you with someone you're trying to set goals and doing your credit, and this person really don't want to improve their credit, they're like, let the chips fall where it may. That may not be the best person for you to work with your credit with, because they
Right.
don't have the same belief systems that you have about money. You see?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So.
that was a situation with me and my ex fiance.
Mm-hmm.
We was having some issues with money and things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature, more so than just getting along and things of that nature. So a lot
Right.
of like she just wanted to do a lot more frivolous spending and things of that nature, and
Yeah.
not really like work on the credit and also
Mm-hmm.
the things that you said and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and you
Yeah.
have
It's
to be on one
teamwork. You
accord
all
with
are a
that.
team.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
it
You
kind of
all are
tore
a
things
team.
down. Well, we had to call it to a close because we supposed to been like trying to be on one accord and build together and things of that nature. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, she really couldn't like find a place to like that compromise, because remember I had to compromise on certain things too or whatever, so it
Right.
wasn't just her. So certain things I had to like try to compromise
Oh
on
yeah.
too, so because
Well,
it's not
that
one
makes
way street.
sense. Yes, it makes sense. Oh, what did Rodney say? He loves to cook, and he hasn't gotten an invite. Oh, I'm sorry, Rodney. We're gonna have to make that happen, though. We're gonna have to make that happen. So I agree. I'm definitely gonna fix you something. Absolutely. Yes.
she, get,
So
she got you
he got me. It's all good. And
right.
Don is saying a part of making any relationship work, particularly I can talk, particularly marriage, it is
Yes,
acceptable. It's accepting
is accepting
each
each
other's
other's
differences.
difference.
I can't. For every time I try to press to see the rest of what's written, it
It
won't
won't
let me.
show.
It
Yeah,
won't let me, and I
but
hate
that's a great
that.
point, Don. That's a great
It
point.
is.
It
It
is.
is. It is
Because you
definitely.
have to accept not only them, but if they
Hmm.
family, good or bad,
Right.
whether or not they struggle holding jobs. It's a
Hmm.
lot of things that you accept and when you
Hmm.
in those relationships or marriages. So,
Yeah.
but you have to be openly accepting them, just like accepting the kids and stuff like that too. Because
Yeah.
I've seen some guys who in relationships or marriages, and then they don't want to be in the kids' lives. They just want to sleep with the woman,
Now,
and
let
you
me tell
can't
you
do
something
that.
about
It's
that.
part of a package deal.
It is, but see, I have to blame the woman on that. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. A lot of times, we as women, we have all the red light clues, and we keep going.
Right.
Real talk. It was stuff she saw long before it got that far. Because,
Right.
and another thing too is whatever is your moral beliefs, you have to have a person that is willing to match that with you. Like
Okay.
I have my core beliefs. The writing's on the wall
And
with that.
the guy have to match
Yeah,
everything
of course he
or
does.
some of the things or the
But
major things, the things
well,
that you
see,
think
here's
are
the thing. I
major
want the
as far
guy.
as
The
your
most
core belief.
important thing is I want a free thinker. That's what's important. I want someone who
Number
loves
one.
themselves. That's very important that I get a man who really loves himself and that put God first in his life.
Right. Right.
So the thing is that because see, I know if he loves himself and he loves God, he's gonna love me. You
Right.
know,
Good
that's
point.
why that is so important to me to have that communication there. The other thing
Hmm.
is that's really important is he has to enjoy what he does for a living. That's super important to me. I mean, it is super important. Why? Because I don't want to talk to a guy that's negative on the phone all the damn time.
Right.
No,
Complaining about the job and other stuff.
That, yeah. Oh no.
It's one thing to vent. It's another thing to complain. And godly people don't look at it like that. Godly people don't complain. You see the people down at the bottom of the buildings in downtown Chicago smoking their cigarettes, complaining about the boss. No, it's one thing to vent. It's another thing to be complaining, and you have to. You have to vent when it's a time to do that. But when you constantly bringing all this negative energy, and then you bringing it to the relationship or marriage, and you bringing it to your kids' world, and
then it's just a circle of negative energy. And see, I'm gonna tell you something. I had a really horrible job for 4 years, and it got me sick. Like having a bad boss and having a bad job can really get you sick. But the thing is that what you have to do is put yourself first and believe in yourself enough and believe in your own personal brand that you can get something better.
Right.
You know, you just have to believe in yourself for that. So one of the requirements of dating me and having it's true. You gotta love what you do. You gotta have a career. And because see, a job and career is two different things. Like me, I have a career. I love what I do. I love what I do.
Good.
I love what I do. So, and the thing is that the reason why I love my career so much is that I get paid to motivate people.
Okay.
I told you.
Is it that nice?
Is that nice?
Right. So you get paid. So it's like getting paid for free because you are already doing that stuff anyway.
I get paid to motivate people.
So that's a blessing from God because everybody don't get a chance to work in what their calling is.
But see, I didn't even know it was my calling.
You just getting a free paycheck.
Because it comes so natural to me. It's easy as breathing. So I didn't even realize it was a calling to me, you know. And I had no idea. But I'm such a free spirit, and I'm so open. I'm like an open book. So for me, it was like I'm on the phone with you. And I'm talking.
The kids who come into college, they the same free spirits that you are.
Exactly.
Because they haven't let the world corrupt them to a certain way of thinking.
Yeah.
So a lot of them, they still wide open, and that's why they need you. That's why God put you in that position because they still at that point where they listening to people, they still absorbing and soaking up all different kind of variable levels of game from different people, and they still at that point a little bit where if you throw the the paint on the wall and people will see a million different things. If you do that with some kids who 20 to 5 years old,
that's my area right there.
A million different things that they see.
18 to 45. That's my
right.
That's
but you get them 20. You get them 25 to 50. Now they just only seeing paint on the wall because they thinking it's become limited in how they view things. Okay, well, thank you, audience, for watching Compromising Communication Show.
Yes.
And we'll see you next Wednesday at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. without the Dallas traffic.
And remember, the compliments come from confidence. So make sure that every day you uplift someone with your positive wordplay. Keep it Eastside Oakland. Yada.
Yes. And one last thing I can add is that encourage somebody every day because your life, you never know how you're going to, your life matters and you never know how you're going to allow someone to bless, how you're going to be a blessing to someone else. But you're definitely right. Everything you said was just right there. Thank you.
See you later, boss.
You the one. Adios.
Okay.